Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Forge Forward podcast. I'm your host, Phil De Cruz, and alongside me, I've got the ever witty Courtney Smith. How you going today, mate?
Over Witty. Hello, everyone.
Good. We're joined to our fantastic partner in our connection ecosystem, and a big representative of Forge. We've got Carrie Scher from Netstock. How you doing today?
Very good, thanks, and you, Phil. Thank you to both you and Courtney for having me on today. We're very excited.
Super excited to get to know you, Carrie, and can't wait
Excellent.
to have you as part of the event.
All right, let's just get right into the meat and gravy, as like we like to say to it. Let's talk about company overview in innovations. So, before we get into the innovation content, can you tell us a bit about your company and the unique value that you bring to the industry?
Yes, of course. So maybe also a little bit about my background. So I've been in the supply chain realm for my sins, I say that, for about 20 plus years. And Netstock I met when they were in the infancy stage. Netstock is an incredibly innovative company. So what do? We're a cloud-based inventory, demand planning, and optimization system. So ultimately, what we're going to give our users is a one platform approach to understanding the health of your inventory. So I always call it the good, the bad, and the ugly. So really understanding your inventory mix and providing you with insights as to how to optimize that. In addition to that, a very large component is what to place and when. So what orders to place, and when to place those. And we've got a multifaceted or multi-tiered supply chain opportunity. So we can place orders per location or per store or per channel. So even though Netstock, I say, provides 80% automation from a what to order, when to order, what to optimize. We've got a lot of AI components that we'll talk to a bit later that we're very excited in terms of our innovative strategies. But ultimately, it is providing transparency and insight into your inventory mix. So I hope I've given you a very punchy, high-level approach.
No,
But
very good. And I really love the fact you brought in a little bit of AI into that conversation, because at the end of the day, Forge is about looking forward, innovation. We live in a time when I speak to people that, in every industrial age, there's been a requirement to shift your thinking. It doesn't matter when, it doesn't matter how far we go back. The difference now is the shifting of thinking is happening exponentially and a lot faster. And so we as humans need to be able to deal with these changes. And as organisations, both supplying into industries that need innovation and seek digital systems, we have to be ahead of the curve. We need to keep the companies and the organisations we support leaning into that future curve and making sure we provide high quality solutions. Could you give me a little bit of an idea, Carrie, about the types of customers that you would have most success with, the industries and or sizes? Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So we're very fortunate that how we've developed over time, because this company was founded about 14 years ago, is we really and truly listen to our customer base, and we've done that over years. And I can say most of our customers have come over time through referrals. So where we started and where we are now, I can wholeheartedly say that the customer base is anybody with inventory, because we use forecasting algorithms to assist with understanding possible future demand because of previous trends. We've got some very powerful algorithms, and it's all automated, so customers do not have to pick and choose. So it's any customer that has an inventory need. Now, some of our customers say, yes, we need to know what to place and when, but even just the transparency of information. And I cannot speak enough about how immature some of the customers are in terms of how do they get that access to information. So they just don't have it. And we've got now a platform with that one source of truth. So if a customer is looking for, where do we start even? We're quite comfortable in the current process, but we want exposure as to what does this independent one source of truth look like? They start with that. So we have customers that use the full spectrum of Netstock, forecasting, supply planning, understanding projections. As I said, the forecasting opportunities. We've got a phenomenal executive dashboard. I could speak at length about this, but if a customer has inventory, um, and you need help optimizing, you need help understanding what to order and when, that's where you come to Netstock.
And it's a hard question I'm going to follow up with, but based on your current responses, I'm pretty sure you'll have an answer. Is there one thing that you kind of think is the most innovative aspect for your customers at the moment that stands out, Carrie?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what we do is our approach, as I said, it's all about retention of customer and listening to that customer. We get a lot of feedback, and there was a huge push for AI, which is what we've
Right.
done. So we've
Yeah.
invested a lot in an opportunities engine, because we all realize that there's so much data out there. You've got these phenomenal systems, and we've spoken before in terms of, a system alone is great, but a system
Mm.
that is entrenched and utilized on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, um, and is aligned to your company's strategic goals. And I don't use these words just because they're nice buzzwords. I've been in management consulting and in distressed consulting for a very long time. So I've seen what's gone right and what's gone wrong.
Yep.
And that is for that reason we have focused on AI, because, as I said, so much data available. How do we feed the correct process or next steps to the client as visibly and effectively as possible? So a lot of innovation in terms of AI, but there's
Yep.
also a lot of innovation or a lot of time spent with our development team in understanding what does the customer want and what does that roadmap look like.
Yes.
So we focused a lot in supply as well. So understanding what is required from a supply perspective, and how we do that is understanding what our suppliers have done in the past. How do we innovate around that? So if you do want a demo of the system, you'll see that in a little bit more detail. But we focused also on the strategic aspects of what our client wants. So we've done some really nice executive dashboards. We've
Right.
provided a nice reporting mechanism that they can pick and choose. So you're not having to go to support and ask for dev or anything like that. So it's really giving, once again, that transparency of data.
Yeah, and I love the word you used, entrenchment, in regards to giving customers the reason to be in there on a daily basis. I haven't heard that word used a lot at all, so I really love that language you've applied there. I can see you're chomping at the bit there, Mr. De Cruz, to push a question Carrie's way.
Yeah, well, Carrie kind of almost answered that question there at the first
I
time, sort
know.
of how your company stays ahead of industry trends, which is there's some innovative stuff there, which is great. But I'd like to know what role does partnerships play in the success of Netstock?
So we're very cognizant of aligning to partners that have a similar vision to us. And once again, I don't use that,
Yeah.
I don't use that casually.
Mm.
If we don't have the right partner, then we're moving in different ways. And I think time is nigh, and we've got to be effective with our strategies. Um, and that's why we were so excited about the Forge event, because I think there's a lot of we have a similar vision, and that's really providing our customer with a very focused response to their issue and understanding their issue. So as I've always said to a lot of my channel partners, is I'm not in sales. I'm really not. I've been on the ground. I've been in supply chain. No one ever phones me just to say hello. There's always an issue. um, but we truly understand how important it is to have that competitive advantage versus versus other demand and supply planning opportunities, and understand the customer. We're not a plug and play environment. Yes, we're very easy to onboard the client. We're very proud of that process, and it works incredibly well because our retention rates are great. But it's more than just a really good system. As I said, it's about having partners, making sure that their partner understands what we do, we understand what they do, and we've got a mutual goal.
Amazing.
That's excellent.
Yeah, look, we came off
That's what I
a
want to hear.
breakfast
I want to be looked after.
I know, and we came off a breakfast this morning, which was really interesting. It was talking about integrated supply chain, and and discussions around things like smart assets and the future of asset management and inventory control. So they're all big ticket items that people are trying to grasp with out there. Have you got a success story that stands out recently that you could talk to, that we might allow our viewers some sort of an insight into exactly how you've delivered an amazing outcome for them?
Yeah. So once again, we pride ourselves on referrals.
Yep.
And if you ever do go past or actively look for the Netstock website, you'll see there's a sizable amount of case studies on there. And these are case studies from people who are users as opposed to just high level executives making commentary. So we've done a really nice case study that we're very proud of that's been released, as I said, now, and it's the T2. I don't know if you are familiar with the T2 brand.
T2 company. Oh, I know
Yeah,
T2. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't necessarily frequent them that a lot, but I do
Mhm.
know the brand. It's a very
Yeah,
unique
it's a
brand.
lovely brand. It's a lovely brand, and we're very proud to be working with them.
Wow.
So they actually came to us with one challenge, and the challenge really was, as I said, it's that insight and visibility into supply lead times.
Yes.
So people don't often come to us with, as I said, with that full encompassing, oh my goodness, we have no idea what we're doing. It's very rare. Most companies know what they're doing. They've just
I've got
got
an idea. I know
issues.
I want to hit. Yeah,
Exactly.
gotcha.
They've just got an issue and they need us to bridge that gap. And then once we
Yeah.
bridge that one challenge, of course, then we expand into optimizing other areas of their inventory. So what T2, as I said, T2 came to us with just that one challenge. So obviously we went through the process of integrating Netstock. And what we did find is not only did we help them in terms of their transparency and lead time and supply lead time issues, but we increased their fill rate, we stabilized their supply, we improved ordering, and we
Right.
improved the forecasting accuracy. So once again, that's what's so great about Netstock, and it is an automated system. So I always say the beauty of Netstock is the simplicity of the complexity. I know that sounds crazy, but there is so much complexity behind the scenes within our system, but it's
Yes.
incredibly easy to use. And that's another differentiating factor between us and our competition is we've got so much online material. The users go through a full onboarding process. We've got our support. We're very proud of our support system, and we've got in-country, obviously, support. We're a global company, so we've got support virtually in every single continent, as well as onboarding and sales and professional services. And then, sorry, I kind of went off tangent a little bit, but yes, we're very proud of T2, and then we've also got some really, as I said, some really nice other case studies where we've had people say to us, Jess, you've really helped us answer what do we need and where do we need it and when do we order it? And then we've got some people that love the ancillary functions. So we've got a really nice dashboard that allows the user to understand what do we need to prioritize today. And that also helps. What does your team have to focus on right now? And let's maximize that. So let's not look at things that don't really benefit our company. Let's have a look at where we stocked out of products that contribute the most to our business from a margin or from a volume perspective.
Well, I've got a little bit of wit for you, Phil, and then you can ask a question. So you're helping T2 with their SKU. Is that pretty much right? Sorry, I was trying to throw a joke and a gag in there, but I'd imagine they've got a lot of SKUs, right, in their business, and you would have had to have dealt with that. I could just imagine.
Yeah, so a lot of SKUs, a lot of building of kits, because it's not, you have compilations of products. So we can, as I said, that's where we can handle
I can honestly picture it, Carrie, because I've been in the shop and I can see all the line items. I can see all the components of the line items, like moving parts, international blends, all the things that have to come in. Like it's a lot of moving parts, so extremely complex. And as you identified and clearly articulated, the key is creating simple from complex. And I think that's where technology is at its best. There's no question about it. Yeah.
And our platform can handle a one-man band where it's one location, maybe 1 or 2, 3 people in the organization. Because remember, even if we just release a little bit of working capital, the ramifications of
Yeah.
that for a small business is massive. And
Yeah.
with the likes of a T2, because
Huge.
you're getting similar software, look at how many locations you're looking at, multiple sources of supply, the quantum of SKUs.
Yeah.
So we're fortunate that we can handle everything.
I think we got a good snap of a little takeout there in that little piece, Carrie, for future marketing. Phil, do you want to continue?
And I was going to say, well,
these?
thank God you're talking about, yeah, and I was saying, thank God you're talking about T2, the tea company, because I think some of the viewers thinking that you're working with the Terminators and you're doing inventory stock for
Or
AI
or
robots for
or
world
or or,
domination. But
or Telstra 2 shares,
so I had
which
to
are
make sure
just
that
tanked
was
as
on there.
well. Yeah, we don't want to link
Oh, tells
those
two
two.
shares, yeah.
As I said, Phil, nothing scares us. We've got 400 years of supply chain knowledge, and that's actually a true number. Trust me, we have
Well, you're talking
seen
about AI. We got Skynet involved.
everything.
Oh, I don't know.
We can deal with anything and everything, and that's
That's
why I've always and hopefully you can feel my passion. I have unfortunately seen
I love
the
it.
worst in companies, where we've seen really healthy companies go awry because they just haven't managed that working capital. Never mind the debt structures in place. They're just not maximizing their cash. And I mean, you give a company like that exposure to Netstock and you can onboard them really quickly and we can flush out some of that old stock, release that working capital, invest that working capital in the mix of inventory that, as I said, that really benefits that company. We can look at product line rationalization. We can look at excess stock reduction plans. We can look at capacity. Yes, we need X, but can we actually handle that on the production equipment, bill of materials? I could speak at length.
Oh, I can clearly see that. I mean, your knowledge is insatiable from my perspective. I can't wait to have a sit down with you one-on-one at Forge. There's a few things to get through still today, so let's keep the conversation rolling.
Let's talk about industry challenges and strategies. What are the current challenges you see coming over the horizon, and how do you seek to navigate them?
Okay, so if I look at what the landscape looked like about 10 years ago plus, let's be honest, there was a lot of stability. And I think a lot of companies became fairly complacent. Yes, we're happy in Excel. Yes, we're happy with the current process. And then all of a sudden, I'm not going to go into the detail. Everyone knows what went down during COVID and the economic crisis of what was that, around
2008, 2009.
2008, yeah,
Yeah.
2008, 2009.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that. So I think a lot of companies at that point knew that they could not be static in their approach. And I think where we are now, it's even more erratic. So when you look at like some of the biggest challenges coming in, we've got the crisis in the Middle East, we've got US elections, we've got what's obviously Russia, Ukraine, general unease, pricing fluctuations. No one really understands what's happening. So I think from an agility perspective, and when I mean agility, is having a platform that you can very quickly change inputs. So change lead times, change forecasts, change suppliers, change locations, really play with your supply chain based on what's going on,
Oh, so you
and
can run
do that
models, Carrie.
easily.
You can run models in Netstock as well.
So we
Right.
can
Wow.
So we can run models.
Yep.
We could, when the customer goes through the onboarding process, we'll show them how to do that. But it's also putting in different rules. So today, the lead time, we measure lead time. So we'll have a look
Right. Yep.
at certain aspects to measure lead time. But if you want to have a lead time of, you want to have an override to say, oh, my suppliers just come back to me. There's a huge issue. They're in just financial distress. They're closing down plant A and they're moving to plant B. And therefore the lead times increase by 15 days. All you would do is you would go in, you would put in an override to say it's now increased by X and rerun our system, and straight away everything takes that into consideration, and all your suggested orders, suggested transfers, and then your statuses will all change. So that's why I say we are a very agile platform.
Yeah.
So
Incredible.
yeah. So Phil, I hope that answers your question.
No,
Of
no, no,
where
no.
the,
That was really, really good. I mean, you talked about massive changes ahead of us, and this is the truth, right? Forge Forge is about trying to identify how you can react to change and step into that. And if you think about where we are in the AI curve, which is something we will get into in a conversation shortly, the truth is that we all sit in a different adoption curve of AI. We all have played with it in some way, shape, or form. Some deeper in the future curve than others. And so, really, for us, it's about finding these little snippets, these little wisdom pieces that you're bringing to the table across a number of partners at Forge that allow people to walk away with a signal or something that they didn't know before they entered. And if you can do that, if we can do that as a partner group to all the audience, then we'll have achieved our mission. And so thank you for some of those wonderful snippets of thinking, which I'm hoping we can extract out at Forge Time as well. Probably for me, one of the things as a business owner is how do you measure success? And I'd like to break that into two questions. One is how does Netstock measure their success? What's important to them? And then what would you think is your biggest value prop you add to the success of your customers? If you could do that short and succinctly, that would be awesome.
Perfect. So really that is customer usability and retention rate. I can put it out there.
Yep.
So customer referrals happen really frequently, and that's how we're able to get that word out there. And the fact that we're always constantly developing, and we're very cognizant of aligning to global trends. So we've invested heavily recently in a Netstock 2024 inventory management benchmark report, where we drew insights from
cool.
2,400 global customers. And it's a very powerful, and it's out there. It's on the Netstock website, so you can have a look at what are these benchmarks, and I'm talking about industry benchmarks, specifically referring to inventory, how people are using AI, are they using AI, what difficulties are they having. So we'd love for you to go have a look at that, because we also did a survey of over 300 Netstock users, and that's across small and medium-sized businesses, to understand how they measure success.
Look, I love you've talked a couple of things in the customer journey there. You've talked about that front end. How do you help people without selling to people, right? So building a report that's of value, that's a good start, right, in your customer journey. And then you talk about this referral piece that you've clearly designed into your systems and processes to ensure that you really work hard to make your customers happy. And that's probably, if not anything, one of the most important recipes for success, in my opinion. So kudos, and again, another snippet, another piece of value. I think we're into getting into the trends and the future now. We're going to step in. We're going to put the robot on, and we're going to let the robot interview from here. Robot Phil, can you please jump in? No, he's a human, everyone. He's not human. He was stationary there for a while. He's a human.
I don't know. It's touched on so many different things of other questions, which is great. But I guess one of the ones I would like to know is, how does Netstock stand out from the competition? How do you balance operational efficiency with high quality service?
So it really, as I said, is understanding their customer base, understanding what our customers need. So we've got before we even demo to a customer, we try to understand what that customer's issues are. In addition to that, we've got that full onboarding team. We've got our sales engineering team. We've got our supporting team. So it's all about understanding what their customer requires and having we've got a very planned and structured way of approaching, and it's successful. And that is what drives, or what comes out of that is what our customers need and don't need, and what works and what doesn't work, and we continually refining that.
That's excellent.
Thank you so much.
It's excellent to hear that they're looked after. Yeah.
Because you talk ecosystem, because Forge is about ecosystem, building out an ecosystem of partners that can work together for success. Are there any integrations that you most lean into with Netstock that you've had success around, ERPs and or other systems?
Yeah, so no, we're very fortunate. So we've got, I think it is 36 or 37 integrations into the various ERPs. We work with virtually all ERPs.
Right.
we've seen a lot of growth in certain realms, and we've got
Okay.
some good partnerships with these ERPs because they understand where their strengths and weaknesses are and where they
Yes.
can use us to bridge that gap and once again make themselves more sticky and appealing to the customer. And there's a trust factor because we've got the reputation of entrenchment, retention, really solid customer service, professional services, and so forth.
Yeah, look, I hear your point, and the trick is not too many systems. We had a chat pre the conversation here about spaghetti systems. If you can get in and build a system architecture that's a few key systems that really handle their piece super well, then that system design can be super powerful. And I believe with what you've said that ERPs have their place, but they can't do everything. And sometimes some of the elements that they deliver are weak. And so if you can supplement and be strong around those weaknesses, then that ecosystem delivers high value for the end users. It requires a lot of design thinking, and it requires a lot of conversation and consultation. But for the most part, we need to make sure we're working as ecosystem because no one has the silver bullet by themselves. No one.
Not at all. And that's why I say we take partnerships. We ran partnerships, very, very highly because we understand also what we need and what we don't have.
100%. 100%. Where future trends, the AI piece, is there something you could tell us about the AI without giving all of it away? Because we want to leave something for Forge. Where are you seeing AI most valuable? Is it in the reporting side? Is it in the automation side? Where are you seeing AI being most powerful today?
So once again, it's really working through that big data. So we are focusing on helping being the most impactful. And that's going to be, what do you do? Where to from here? Once again, not to give away too much, because we love to show clients this during our demos. But it's, if you are a user and you coming in, what do you need to do that's going to give you the most impact for your business right now? And it's working through all this data, all the algorithms, and really providing the user with a very high level snapshot.
Yes. Yeah. And with you, the data is huge. So to be able to get people to the information that they need when they need it the most, I think the interesting blends that I'm seeing is that ability to engage with systems in a different way, thanks to the large take up of LLMs and the ability to process huge amounts of data and provide new communication ways to present that data and information, whether that be chatbots, whether that be stylized reporting or instantaneous feedback through a physical a question or search query. It's a time it's great to be alive if you own large data sets. And both our organizations, both at Connection and Netstock, we both own huge data sets. So it's super exciting times. I'm just looking at the time, and we are into that 28-minute mark. So I would love to close out. Do you think we could bring it home, Phil? And it's been a delightful conversation today, Carrie, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time, Carrie. We're very lucky to have you to be on the podcast today and representing Netstock at the Forge Summit event.
And we too are incredibly excited. So looking forward to seeing everyone at the Forge event. Looking forward to seeing you again, Phil, and meeting you in person, Courtney. And
Absolutely.
of course, always available, netstock.co for those that want to look at the product or want to demo. But thank you for your time.
Absolute pleasure. May have a lovely day.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.